Good evening, and thanks for tuning into the All Sports Show live from the Premier, and also you can watch us on the herald.com.au. You can watch on the live stream app. You can watch on our YouTube channel. You can watch anywhere, really. Just tune in and get into it. It's a great show, and joined again by, well, the veteran of the show, because he's been on more shows than anyone else, Brett
Feeling
Cleveland.
like it. Thank you, Fordo. Yeah, I feel like I should be welcoming you back. You've been to Chicago, and look who's back on the left.
Who is the third host? I haven't seen you for so
Introduce
long.
yourself, stranger.
Well, Fordo, you're taking hold of the show. You've grown an extra leg, mate.
Kurt,
not a lot up here. Not a lot up here.
Mate,
but
where
you
do you say that?
Kurt, quickly, where have you been? We haven't seen you for
Kurt
6
Burnley, everybody. Welcome
where
back.
Where have you been, Kurt?
Mate, I've been a lot of stuff going on, actually. So I've been trying to tie up a few work commitments all around the place. But I've been Perth and Adelaide and Melbourne and Brisbane and Atlanta and Tennessee, Nashville. I've been.
We spoke to you a couple of weeks ago, but the last one we saw you on the show was 6 or 7 weeks ago, and you said you're going away to really focus on training. And how's that all going? Is it really kind of?
Yeah, at the moment, mate, it's going really well, really well. I've spent the last big block of just trying to get sustained high intensity training, and it's starting to pay dividends. I've got the whole new equipment, so a new chair that I'm going to roll all the way through to Rio. It takes a lot of time to get used to, but I've been in it now for 3 weeks, and I'm already back to I would say back to some of the best form that I've been in all year. So,
You've got some decent scars on your arms. Is that a sign of hard training?
Mate, this morning, the last 2 days in particular, I have not had harder training days in my life. And my coach has now got a moped, got a scooter that he drives around. I know, so he doesn't have to hurt with me anymore. So he's now in control of. So he knows my heart rate. So he knows exactly how I'm feeling, but he's not feeling the pain. So he has just been. He's been dragging me through some pretty hard Ks. But mate, it's this period
obviously
right now,
you're loving it, but your enthusiasm is you're loving it.
Oh. This is what I dream of, mate. It's over the last 3 years. In between, your cycle almost goes Paralympics to Paralympics, and now it's 12 months out from my final games. You know, like I'm going to be a mad dog for this next 12 months.
How good's that, Coops?
Well, I thought those were just from trying to find a parking spot out the front, because he's dead set rocked up
I look like
about 30 seconds before kick-off. But a true showman, a true champion, a true professional. He's here right on time.
Good stuff. Good to have him back. As we always do. First cab off the rank, Coops. Big three. We love it.
It's the second favourite.
No, it's the best.
Part of the show.
It's easily the best.
It's the second favourite part of the show.
Easily the best. What do we got?
I'm happy with the silver medal, mate. Right, we got plenty on the plate to talk about tonight, but I'll lead off with the Australia-New Zealand rivalry. We had that last weekend in multiple sports. Now, the big one, of course, was Australia beating the Silver Ferns in the Netball World Cup final, which was fantastic. You know, we led them into a false sense of lulled them into a false sense of security, given the prelim game, but we won the one that mattered. So another gold medal for our Aussie Diamonds, which was fantastic. You watch the game, boys? You would watch it in the.
I didn't, mate. I was away, but I was following the result on Twitter and just about broke the internet, because it was obviously a big result and the crowd was enormous. So yeah, and
they got a nice early lead and then had a bit of withstand a bit of a comeback. But
mate, I was social media as well. I was following it online, and we got 4 or 5 Sydney Swifts in the team as well. So I kind of tried to follow that team through to their run last year as well. So everyone was a little bit invested. We've been beaten by the Poms in the cricket. We've been beaten by the Kiwis in the rugby.
Well, that was the thing. It was a square, wasn't it?
To get something back, and the girls, the Diamonds, were just too strong, mate.
Well, you stole my thunder there, Kirk, because I was going to say it made up for the Bledisloe Cup loss, didn't it? I mean, it more than made up for that. And then on the Monday and Tuesday nights, the Boomers and the Opals won their games against New Zealand in the basketball. So qualification for Rio for our 2 Australian basketball teams.
Did you think the men's would be more comfortable in victory than what they were, Coops?
No, New Zealand have improved dramatically. It used to be a bit of a cakewalk in both men and women. The women was a little bit more comfortable because they had they're just a better. We just got a lot more talent to draw from. And I suppose you can say it with the men too. But the Kiwi men, the Tall Blacks, very physical side. Stephen Adams, their centre, wasn't there. He's a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. We were lucky enough to bring in Paddy Mills when Dante Exum went down injured. And you're going to get to a stage, and we touched on this earlier in the year, that they'll be picking a team for the Olympics next year with some NBA players missing out.
From a casual observer from the outside in, but I saw the names Bogut, Dellavedova, Mills. I just think we should be winning this by, it's like our dream team.
No, they just.
We win by 30
well,
or
we
40.
got a comfortable lead in the fourth quarter, and we panicked a little bit under their pressure, and it was a margin thing too. So we had the margin from the first game, so then it was an aggregate, and it was always looking fairly comfortable. But
Mate, at this stage in qualification, for a team like Australia, just get there.
Just get there for sure.
It doesn't have to be good looking. You don't have to be winning by 50 points. You just get that win, because they are the Tallbacks are playing for a win. This is their absolute grand final. They get this win, they're through. Where it's tempting for an Australian team to write that off, to think about the Olympics.
It seems fairly important now that we get Bogut there healthy. He doesn't seem like he gets the off season. He doesn't have a good off season. He's always having surgery or something.
He did have an off season. It was the final.
games 4, 5, and 6.
Didn't play 3 games in a row.
But that's the first
I love
series
you,
he's
Bogut.
played with the Boomers for a long time. Bogut hasn't been part of the Boomers program for a long time, so actually to work him back in, and they were able. He took a bit of an injury in the game too, so they were able to ease him through that. But the Kiwis, the Tall Blacks, will still go through a repechage, so they might still qualify through that.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Well, they play a South American team. I'm
not 100% sure of all the teams, but there's a bit of a pool of the teams that lose their qualification. We'll get Ivan onto that one if he.
How bloody good is it to see? We can't have Dante Exum. I know, ex-sub. Patrick Mills.
Patrick Mills, come on down.
The winner of the NBA of 2014 is our sub.
Yep.
And I know you're going to get to it later, Coobs, but it's probably a good time to mention Ben Simmons, how good he was at Newcastle last week.
Oh, yeah, that was fantastic.
Was he a class above?
Yeah, he started off the first couple of quarters just sort of a lot of passing, and that is one of his strengths, his vision and his ability to make a pass full length, hits a teammate on the chest, drives to the basket and kicks to an open shooter. In the fourth quarter, he looked to score a little bit more himself, but they've played 3 or 4 games since that one, and they're packing out wherever they're going, and he's just racking up the numbers. So it's fantastic.
You'd be familiar with him? Is he as good? He just seems like such a lovely young kid.
Yeah, mate. He's got a baby face. Like, he looks like he's about 13 or 14 years old, but he's 6'10", still growing into his body a little bit. But it's his team. He's only a freshman in that team, but you can tell it's his team. And he's just got the all-round game. He's a 6'10" point guard. He can play point guard. He can play any of the 5 positions on the floor, and they used him.
Could he enter the draft for the NBA next year, or would that be?
He'll play 1 season of college.
Is that right?
Yeah. Barring injury,
he'll be in the draft next year.
Yeah, he'll be in the draft, and he'll
amazing.
be top 2, top 3,
really?
maybe top. Maybe most people think he'll be the first pick.
Yeah, okay.
But it'll depend on which team gets
That's
first
just
pick.
amazing, isn't it?
And if they need a 7'1" centre, they might go for the best in that.
It's great for our country. It's amazing for this region.
It is.
Oh,
definitely.
we'll claim him, and Melbourne claim him. He's a Melbourne boy, a Newcastle boy, but we'll claim him.
What a Melbourne.
He's one of ours.
He's bleeds Newcastle, I heard.
Number 2, boys, the shoulder charge in the NRL. What have they done? What have they created for themselves in the over the finals? We saw another 6 or 10 or 12 blokes charged last weekend. 3 of them took it on Wednesday night at Judiciary. All of them got off. A couple of the charges were ridiculous. George Tafil.
The Tafil one in particular, Coobs,
how is that a shoulder charge?
You just couldn't get it, mate. Like, Tafil was about to grab the ball. Whiten grabbed it and he turned his shoulder.
Braced himself.
That was a shoulder charge. That was thrown out in like a minute. Bang, it's out. I mean,
mate.
I think that was it the Guerra one that was probably touch and go. Touch and go, but he got off. So they've kind of. The match review committee, I don't know what kind of signals they're getting from above. When
David Smith himself gets on Twitter a couple of weeks ago and says, we're going to crack down the shoulder charge, boys. So that was after that Kane Evans gave Big Sam Cassiano a ticket through the air.
Yep.
And Big Sam didn't get hurt, but he didn't get a charge out of it. So it was like, well, what are we going to do here? We're going to have to toughen up these rules. And like the NRL seemed to do, changing rules mid-season. We're a couple of weeks out from the semis.
What are you hearing, obviously in amongst the Knights, day in, day out, Coops? What are you hearing? What are the officials there saying this is going to happen or that's going to happen? Or they just don't know?
Well, unfortunately, with the Knights case, it's sort of they're out of it, and they might be part of an experimental game in the last couple of rounds.
But what are they hearing regarding the rule of the shallow charge?
They get.
Is it just there and you work with it?
They're talking about forceful intent, and it just. And then they're talking about degrees. If you can hold a newspaper under your arm, once it sort of leaves, if you're going to wrap your arms around, there's all these.
See, get
a set square and a ruler out.
That's a really tough position to be, though, because if they don't do this, the players now have such a duty of care, have such a means of rights to potentially sue down the track. If somebody does get in that shoulder charge, if it does injure them, if it does cause broken bones, concussions, the players can be lining up for potentially millions of dollars, like we saw in the NFL last year.
They're heading in the right direction. The shoulder charge has to go. There's no question.
Shoulder charge to the head, definitely, and
contact to the head.
But it's for the guy bracing himself. You know, I just don't. I don't get it. I just don't get what they're trying.
It's such a tight interpretation. Willie Mason, he got 2 games for one a couple of weeks last week.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
He should afford that.
On George Burgess by memory. Yeah.
Number 3. Ivan Spurds, our faithful leader, not here with us tonight. He's been working sleepless nights for months and months to hatch his baby. It was launched yesterday. The Bush Bash. I don't think that's a technical term, but it's what I want to call it.
I think it is.
New South Wales Regional Bash, the Bush Bash. It's a T20 competition for New South Wales regional areas. Newcastle and the Hunter, we're going to have the Hunter Hitmen and the Newcastle Blasters. 16-team competition. Hamilton and Merewether have been dominating the SCG Cup.
Yep.
They play the final every year, and this way they're going to spread the love, spread the talent. 16 teams. It'll culminate on the 6th of December with 4 teams, 2 semi-finals and a final. It's good. And they're all affiliated with either
who's the
Thunder
Hitmen
or
and the
the
Blasters
Sixers.
made up of? 2 kind of composite teams?
Oh well, the Hunter Hitmen are more your Maitland, Cessnock, Dungog, and Upper Hunter Valley, and the Newcastle team will be drawn from Newcastle.
So you think the
more
Blasters will
suburban area.
be $4 specials to win that?
Oh, possibly. Yeah. But
with Hamilton and Mirror,
there'll be an option for him to bring in an imported player, a marquee player, and maybe Chris Gale might be available if.
I've seen Kurt
Chris
Fernley.
Gale go in Newcastle.
You can hit a cricket ball.
Let up
Joey
if you hit by a cricket ball. No LBW. Can stand in front of the bloody wickets for quite a while.
No, but it's good. I know, like Ivan gave us a little bit of a teaser last week, said he had some big news this week, and that was his big announcement last week.
Good stuff.
And I think he's having a day off to sort of bask in his own glory. He's probably listening.
Glass of
almost
bubbles
certainly
somewhere.
listening.
Glass of bubbles,
Yeah.
a cat.
A glass of bubbles while lying in a bubble bath, probably just saying, how good is that?
So is it been well received with the cricket fraternity? I mean,
Yeah, I've only gone out yesterday, but
I think people are sick of Newcastle dominating the SCG Cup. It looks like they're going to dominate that as well.
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, they've certainly got a bigger talent pool to draw from. But you
know what?
little regional
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Ben Simmons, he's ours. Brett's big 3 for another week.
Coops,
Done.
Coops, as always. That's probably the best one ever. That's probably the best one ever.
Maybe not.
We're going to have a short break, and we're going to come back with, well, probably the most all-round sports person we've ever had on the show, Tanisha Stanton. Stand by. We're back in a minute. Welcome back to the All Sports Show, brought to you by the Premier and the Herald.com. And we're going to get a very special guest shortly. But, Keebs, can you run us through some local sport details, please?
Yes, Darren, I can.
Thank you.
And first off, and it's in keeping with our first guest, big day for Newcastle netball tomorrow. We've got the major semi-final between the unbeaten Souths and Forsyths at National Park at 2:30. Last Saturday, Maryville Tavern, we had Danielle Harvey on from Maryville Tavern on the show a couple of weeks ago. She said that Maryville were going to get hot in the semis, and they have. They beat Junction Hotel Yoga Loft 40-34 in the rain last Saturday in their semi-final. That was an elimination, so Maryville skipped through to next week, and they'll play the loser of tomorrow's South Forsyth major semi-final in a grand final qualifier.
Excellent. Now, if I read out our next guest, whole CV, we'd do another hour on the show. So,
Just your
in short,
underachiever.
our next guest, everybody, she's a 3-time national representative in netball, rugby league, and touch football. She's currently at Narrabeen in the Olympic Rugby Union Sevens program, trying to get to Rio. Please, mate, welcome Tanisha Stanton.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tanisha.
Thanks for joining us, and of course, massive CV you're accumulating here. But the Sevens, how's that all tracking for you in Sydney at Narrabeen?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's going really well. So we're in pre-season at the moment, coming up to another World Series that starts in Dubai in December. So we're really pumped for that.
And are you actually been selected in the squad, or is it still being narrowed down?
So I'm in the squad. We have a squad of 24 at the moment, and probably 1 or 2 months out of the Olympics, I think that's when they'll pick the top 12.
Yeah, we obviously the men's sevens is a fairly large tournament. Do the women follow that tournament? Is it at the same venues like Hong Kong and Fiji and New Zealand? Is it the same? Is it at the same venues, or is it?
Not all the time. So last year we only toured with them in Dubai,
Right.
which was a really great experience, and that was the first one that I got to go on as 13th man, which was really exciting. But not all of them. So yeah.
What's the temperature in Dubai in December?
I think, and it's their winter. And it was like still 26, 27 degrees. It was
So I'm
boiling.
racing in Qatar in October, and they've said that it's a minimum of 29 and a maximum of 40.
Yeah.
So I'm training in this little room with a blow heater on, trying to make sure that I'm used to ridiculous temperatures.
Yeah.
But so Dubai is pretty moderate at that time of year.
Yeah. Like as soon as you step outside, it's just the humidity hits you, but it's really great. Dubai's beautiful.
So how big was that news a few years ago when they announced that rugby was going into the Olympics?
Yeah, no, it was definitely, it was such great news, especially for women in sport as well. Another sport going into the Olympics, which was really great, and definitely something that caught my eye to go over to rugby, and yeah, really exciting.
Because Tanisha, we'll get you to maybe run us through your sporting background. You're a former Hunter Sports High student. Tell us the sports you've done and why you picked Sevens rugby to go for.
So I'm from Dubbo. That's where I was born and raised. So I grew up doing athletics and touch football and netball and hockey and stuff like that. Once we moved to Newcastle, that's when I started to take netball a little bit more seriously, and was lucky enough to go up through the ranks of Newcastle netball through their state age there, and then going down to Sydney for State League, where I played with Newcastle for a couple of years, and then I moved down to Eastwood to play Div 1. And then I was lucky enough to make New South Wales and go on and make the Australian squads. And yeah, I think it was just that sort of Olympic dream that I've always had that sort of caught my eye to go over to rugby. And I think that just the challenge of taking on a new sport was really exciting.
You've had background in touch. You're a national rep in touch, and you played a bit of league at the Indigenous knockouts and those sort of things. So I guess that was your connection. That was your stepping stone into rugby.
Yeah, definitely was pretty much where I got picked up from, was touch football, and being able to play for Australia in that, where that's where like most of our coaches scout from, because the skills in touch football do sort of accumulate to rugby as well. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And of course, last year you were nominated for a Logie for Best New Talent on NITV with the Barefoot Sunday. Well, lucky you weren't nominated this year. We've had 3 or 4 blokes against you, Like, you've been no chance this year. You wouldn't have got nominated.
Yeah, that's
Are we up for a Logie?
Another soon-to-be award-winning show. But rugby's, the Sevens rugby, it's not position-orientated, so it's forwards or backs. Basically, were you playing the forwards or the backs?
I'm in the forward pack
Were you?
for Sevens, yeah.
Ball playing...
ball playing prop.
Of course. Yeah. And so the squad for Rio, is that kind of, is it a 25-person squad? Did you say that, or did you say? It's because it seems like a lot of people to take to the rugby sevens.
Yeah. No, they will only pick 12 to go over
12,
there.
okay,
yep.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll dub Vegas. I'm a Central Westian as well. I've got family out at Dubbo and Gill, who I'm sure are watching if they actually have internet.
Hey, the national broadband scheme, that's
coming out there soon. No, I was out at Gill the other weekend. Good people. How have you found the move from Newcastle, from that sheltered kind of area that is Newcastle High Schools or Sports High, into what is really the developing of a professional athlete, completely living, eating, breathing sport? How have you found that leap?
Yeah, I found it a bit difficult, especially like having to move down to Sydney to pursue my sports career, like being away from my family, like my mum and my dad and my sister, is really hard just because they've been there like every step of the way and still continue to be. But so it's tough living away from home, but at the same time, that they've pushed me in the right direction and guided me all through my teen years, and even now still do so much for me. So that makes it a little bit easier having them to support me. But yeah, it's such a different environment, coming from, also like when I moved down to Sydney, I had a job and stuff like that. So going from that to like being a professional athlete, it's also very difficult, but really exciting as well.
Do you have a mentor in that team? Do you have a leader in that team that you're able to kind of work alongside to get really, I guess, experience in what's needed?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the position I'm in, me playing prop, both of our captain and vice captain are props as well.
Oh, geez, that's tough for selection.
Yeah, it is really tough. Really tough.
You need me to come down there and sort a couple of people out. I'm more than willing.
Yes.
When they go to fitness training, she says, no, you don't need to go. I'll go. You stay home. They're coming off blowing after a minute. Yeah. So mentor-wise, is it when you first came to Newcastle, apart from your parents, was there a mentor locally at Hunter Sports High that you looked up to?
At Hunter Sports High, all my teachers were extremely supportive, of my sporting commitments that I had on. Also, all the people through like netball, like in Newcastle, my BNC, like all them ladies were so supportive, and there was a lot of people that have helped me along the way, and I wouldn't be where I am today without them.
Fantastic.
Do you look at the World Cup final last week in netball and think that's still something you'd like to aspire to, like, tick this box for the Olympics, then maybe go back into one of the other sports and achieve it at that level?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something I've thought about, and even thought about before I come over to rugby, was me, wanting to also pursue my my goals that I had set for netball. Hopefully if I make this Olympics, hopefully after that, then I can try give netball a crack again, and would be amazing.
Because I guess we see with Israel Folau and Sonny B. Williams and Sam Burgess, these code hopping athletes, you're not restricted for life anymore in one of these sports. You can do whatever you like, and you obviously excelled at a couple already. So you got a few avenues you can track down later.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what? That's another good thing, that it's always nice to be reminded about how much and how strong that pull is for an Olympic gold.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see full professional athletes and young kids just say that my life's going to go in that direction because I want to be at the Olympics. You kind of forget that. You forget nowadays, when you're bombarded with sport all over the place, that still is just a powerful thing.
Kurt, after the last Paralympics, do you go, wow, 4 years is too long? Is it
Never. Mate,
no.
For an athlete, you need to think in 4-year periods.
Yeah.
You need to be able to sit down, and I'm sure that when you were 14, you're 18 now? 19.
Yeah, 19 now.
19 now. So, okay. The games are only a year away. So when you were 16, I'm sure that you would have had the idea of going to the Olympics.
Yeah, definitely.
You need, I think short term for me is a 4-year period.
Yeah. What about, you mentioned field hockey, of course, before. Was that ever a path you might have taken the Olympics? Was it you weren't good enough at that sport? Because else.
No. I don't think hockey was a sport for me. I think that was just for fun. I remember one of the games I did play, it was with my sister, actually, and I was too close to one of the girls swinging the ball, and she split me with the hockey stick, and my sister actually come on and she scored a goal after she subbed
that
me
ended a
off.
promising hocky career right there.
Yeah.
And Rugby Sevens are thankful for that.
Yeah.
My brother split me with the hockey stick. We weren't playing hockey, but
that was last week, wasn't it? Tanisha, Darren touched on it earlier about your other career, your TV career with NITV and Barefoot Sunday. Can you tell us a little bit about what your role is there and what you get to do on that program?
Yeah, so I was picked up from NITV after I won a Deadly Award in 2012 for Most Promising New Talent in Sport, which was really exciting. So they seen me from that, and they were looking for a young female co-host to co-host alongside Luke Carroll, which was really exciting. And so they chucked my name out there and sort of got onto me and asked me to come down and see if it was for me. Did sort of a screen test, see how I looked on camera and sounded and stuff like that. And they were really excited and asked if I wanted to come on the show, and it was really exciting because grassroots sports is something I'm really passionate about, and to be able to do that and go into communities, because they don't really have that many shows around like that these days. So to be able to do that was really great, and to co-host alongside someone that was really amazing. It's done really great things. It was really cool.
And who are some of the athletes and people you've got? Is it all just grassroots, or have you got to do some stuff with some of the elite level athletes in the Indigenous community?
We got to do a few elite athletes, which was really exciting. Our producer was actually Mark Ella, which was which was really exciting.
He went okay.
Yeah. So which was really exciting. Yeah.
He would have got a spot now.
I reckon NITV is a channel everyone should have a look at some stage. Love the Aboriginal Knockout. It's the best.
It's a great,
best television you'd ever want to see.
Yeah.
It's raw rugby league. It's fantastic. I've watched Barefoot Sunday. It's a great program. There's actually a couple of good travel programs on there as well, where they go in the communities and show what's going on. It's a fantastic.
Also, they had the most real coverage of Adam Goods over the last month. If you wanted to actually sit down and understand what's going on, all you needed to do was turn that on, and they had They had O'Loughlin. They had a few really good shows that covered that in the most direct way that I'd seen.
Real way, maybe, Kurt.
Real. Yeah.
Does sitting on this panel sort of take you back to the NITV studios and like the production values? We're all on the same level.
I didn't realise how good she was going to come here. How bad is
Oh,
he?
what about the budget?
So your family is still in Newcastle?
Yeah, family is still in Newcastle.
And they're going to remain based here, do you think?
I'm still trying to con Mum and Dad to move to Sydney so I can move back in with them.
Don't, because we needed to always claim this place as home. So you're not allowed to. Mum's over there. So, hey, Mum.
And Dad's over the back.
Another shout out to all the mums, because all the mums doing all the driving for kids all over Australia to get to and from sport.
So is it a dormitory set up at Narrabeen, or is it own rooms? Or
No. So we had to find our own accommodation. I was already living down there before I started with Seven, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Tanisha, on the Logie, did you get to go to the presentation last year?
No, I didn't get to go, unfortunately. I think it was only the top 5 that got picked that got to go, but it would have been an amazing experience, but to be even nominated was just unreal.
You would have been 17.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I just want to share some good stories.
If there's a ticket to go to the Logies,
Hey.
I'm not giving it to a 17-year-old.
You know
I'm
what?
sorry.
She's
You can be the
19 now.
star of that
They
show.
said.
When
Yeah.
when we get our nomination for this show at next year's Logies, and we get to handpick a few guests to come with us, we'll take Tanisha with us.
going.
Yeah.
PO
I'm
box.
going.
I haven't seen the
I
invite.
don't think the nomination's ready.
Okay. Well, winning an award somewhere would be for nothing, that's for sure. Well, Tanisha, fantastic having the show. We wish you all the best for the future, and especially the Olympics. And
What an
get
experience.
on that plane and do us proud.
Oh, well, thanks for having
luck.
me.
Good luck, Tanisha.
Good luck,
Thanks
good
for having
luck.
us. Thanks for
Okay,
being on.
well done. We're going to have a short break and come back and talk with the maddest bloke ever been on the program, Toby Price. Yeah, welcome back to the premiere of the All Sports Show. We're on fire tonight. How good was Tanisha Stanton, boys? Listen, quick sports update, and then we'll get to our next guest.
Thanks, Porter. Yeah, we'll go through the Newcastle Hunter Rugby Union round 18 tomorrow. It's the final round. All games at 3 o'clock. Some big games with some bearing on the semi-finals. Hamilton versus the Waratahs, first versus third at Passmore Oval. That'll be a big one.
Yes.
Maitland versus Southern Beaches at Marcellin. University versus Singleton at Burnie Curran. And Wanderers should be a fairly comfortable day out against Nelson Bay in a warm-up to the semi-finals. So,
correct,
business
mate.
end of the season in all the sports, and rugby
Hamilton look like they got the minor premiership wrapped up. Wanderers and just a couple of teams fighting for the 5.
Yeah,
so
well, we've talked about through the year, haven't we? The Hamilton
should be,
Wanderers
yeah,
look like
yeah,
they're the
should
two
be.
standouts. But
Should-
I'll let
should
you
be
introduce our next guest, Fordo.
Yeah, well, joining me two to my left is Australia's premier dirt bike rider and dead set madman. Broke his back. Podium finish at Dakar. Won the Fink Rally last year.
And this year.
This year, I should say. Well, this year. So this.
Multiple.
Toby Price. Welcome, Toby.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Mate, you're in a dangerous sport, obviously, and reading your resume is quite chilling to see. You broke 3 vertebrae in your back and came back from that, and you got speared by a branch. We'll show you that boot later. Mate, what drives you in this sport, apart from motorbike?
Yeah, pretty much. I love riding bikes, and it's just I've been doing it since I was about 4 years old, and just every day, I wake up and want to go ride my bike. So it's we've definitely been through the wars with injuries. So I'm 27 years old, and I think I've got 28 broken bones. So when you average that out, it's pretty much only 1 a year. And but normally, most of the time, when you have a big get off, you break a few at the same time. So they add up quick.
Do you have that danger always in the back of your mind, or are you like, so for me, riding on the road, I do all my training on the road. I know I can't think about that. I can't think about the cars flying by me at 100k an hour. I need to get that out of there, but you're more in control. So I don't know whether it'd be good or bad for you to have that idea, the knowledge of the danger that you're actually doing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. On our way to the race, we probably are thinking a little bit. We just don't want to get hurt. We want to make sure we get through the weekend all safe and sound. But once we pull that helmet on and throw the goggles on, we click it in the gear, we're off and going. So you put all that behind you, and like you say, it comes down to us. It's just if I make the mistake, I'm the one that's going to get hurt, and that's it. So there's nobody else that's really going to hurt me.
What's the worst moment of your career?
Yeah, probably breaking my neck in 3 spots. I broke my neck in the States doing a race over there, and I actually had to fly home in a Halo system on a normal Qantas airline. And yeah, we got back to Brisbane, got all surgery in there. So I've got 8 screws and 3 bits of rod in my neck now. So
Toby, can I interrupt you? Was the reason you flew back because the insurance never covered you in the US? Is that the reason?
Yes, that's it. So we had a lot of trouble with the insurance over there, and with the sport of motorcycles, it's hard to find insurers, and they found a loophole and they got out.
Yep.
And yeah, so we had to pack up and fly home with a broken neck.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, had to put all through that, and then we got sorted once we got back here.
And Toby, your attitude through that was if there was a risk you weren't going to walk again, but your feeling was if you couldn't ride your bike again, that wasn't the most important thing.
That's it. Yeah, it was pretty much. It was only one option. The hospital in the States was just going to leave me the way I was, and then I would have never ridden a bike again. And then the other option was to fly home and get the surgery done here. So I thought, amazing. Well, if we're never going to ride a bike again, I'd at least try and get home. And make it home in one piece to get the surgery done and be good to go again. And just pretty much took a gamble on that. And that's luckily for us, we come away with the winning cards. And,
awesome. And
yeah.
This is we're not talking 10, 15 years. This is like, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was a two-year anniversary in April. So it's, not too long ago. It's
And since then, you've not only recovered, you've ridden at Dakar for the first time and won a stage and finished on the podium. The Fink Desert Classic. I mean, it's unbelievable.
What's the best moment? We've heard the horrible bloody pits. What's the moment that you're most proud of over the last however long doing what you do?
By far, it's definitely been Dakar. That race is just worldwide and known worldwide.
Where the hell is Dakar? I know it's the Middle East, but is it?
Yeah, well,
it's hard. No,
it starts in Argentina. Well, this year it started in Argentina and finised there, so it's in South America.
South America. There I go.
It's made a bit of a change.
We let you ask the question, but we didn't know either.
I was about to say start in Argentina, but I got interrupted.
Oh, stop it.
Toby, of course, the Dakar is the most famous rally, and for dirt bikers, it's extremely, of course. But how extreme is it? It must be like draining, is it? Because the Fink rally, as I read today, it's kind of out and back, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Pretty much a Fink. It's a 2-day race. So you race 240 kilometres in one direction out, and then you race that same track back the next day. Whereas the Dakar event, it goes for 2 weeks straight. So it's 14 days of racing. We're up pretty much every morning at around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, back on the bike, and we ride from anywhere from 12 to 15 hours for the day. Covering anywhere from 300 kilometres to about 1,100 kilometres was our longest for a day.
In average speed?
An average speed, I think they were clocking it as around 45 kilometres an hour.
And what's the terrain? Sand, gravel?
Everything, yeah, that's it. Like, so sand, gravel, hard packed, sand dunes, pretty much everything you can possibly throw in.
Is there a tactic to that, or is it just go A to B and go flat out, or is there, we're going to take that road and go a bit quicker there, and is there a tactic behind it?
There is a little bit. Each day always changes, so stages are either like a really hard navigation or easy navigation. So some days you've really got to just like back it down and just make sure you make all the right turns, and then the next day could be 6 gear wide open and doing 170, 80 kilometres an hour in dirt and hanging on for life. So it's definitely a big adventure, and like I say, we cover just shy of 10,000 kilometres.
How big is that event in the south of America? Is it massive? Like, is it?
Huge. It's by far the biggest race that I've ever competed in. They had an estimated about 2.5 million people like spectating on the side of the track for the rally just in Argentina. It gets filmed and goes worldwide. So it's for me, it's definitely the biggest race I've done, and to come away with a podium finishing third. I'm one of 2 Australians to ever podium at Dakar, and to do it on our first attempt is pretty special.
And you're not just out. He's not just out there riding. You've got to read directions. How do you? Yeah, you haven't got a code. You haven't got someone in a.
Yeah, you haven't got no code.
Not the iPhone in the ear.
or the co-driver. Like, how do you navigate
Yeah, you don't have Google Maps and
No Google Maps.
Yeah, no
Bad reception
co-driver
out
with
there.
us. So it's we've got like instruments out in front of us, and it's got like a paper road book that we have got all our notes for the day that we've got to follow and direct. So
A paper road book like a Gregory's? Bloody hell. I hated those
One of the big
things.
fold-out ones. Where am I going again?
There are two things that I will not miss, a Gregory's and a tape deck. Both of those things can be lost to history for
So these are on your handlebars?
yeah, so just like it's out in
directions?
front of your handlebars, and basically, the road book's in a big roll, and you've got a toggle switch on the left side of the bars that you control, and that rolls your map through when you need to, and then you've got your ICOs, which are all your kilometre readings, and then you've got a cap heading that you follow as well. So it's all like compass,
It's incredible, isn't it?
guidance, everything, and it's there's no help from any Google Maps or anything. So
What is it that you see that gives you the edge over all of your competition?
I just work hard behind the scenes. A lot of people don't see what goes in behind riding a dirt bike, and everyone just thinks that a motorcycle is, you sit on the bike and turn the throttle and just go for a ride. It's
See, I was about to go, but I have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. So what is that?
But yeah, so it's just a lot of cycling. I do a lot of mountain biking, running, rowing, spend a lot of time on the bike. So pretty much for a year, I'd nearly go through 10 to 12 bikes for the year, just putting time on them. So yeah, it all adds up really quick.
So how do you do that here?
So yeah, basically just anywhere out here in the bush, we've got a registered bike, and we just go through the bush as fast as we can. And now that the road book and navigation stuff's coming into it, we've got to start making some road book and some maps, and basically start doing some big long rides. So we might end up seeing me leave Maitland area or Newcastle and end up in Sydney or Melbourne, and just belting through the bush somewhere.
Just training.
Just training.
Of course. A famous curry guy, Chad Reed's gone to America and made it big in motocross. Was motocross ever a path you could have taken?
Yeah, so I've got a background in dirt track and motocross. So all through juniors, I did a bit of both. Then I went more so motocross, won Australian Junior Motocross Championships, and signed my first factory contract with the Kawasaki team to go into motocross and supercross when I was 16. And then, we've just been pretty much flat out with that. Then we had a lot of, like I say, I had a lot of injuries. I broke my femur, I broke my shoulder, fingers, collarbone.
You've obviously got a good sponsor in KTM and RedBull. Is it GoPro as well?
Yeah, GoPro, all these guys on board
so
now.
they just look after you. If anything happens, look after you.
Yeah, pretty much. It's they're the guys that are on board now and helping out a lot.
Good stuff.
So for the uninitiated like ourselves, we know the Formula One teams, the McLaren and the Ferrari teams. The KTM Red Bull team in your sport is the number one, that they've dominated the Dakar Rally and most of the international events. You're part of that team? You've just joined that team?
Yes, yeah. So we've just been lucky enough to sign a 2-year contract with the factory Red Bull KTM Rally team. So it's pretty much the pinnacle of motorcycle teams.
Does that give you a better chance in the Dakar?
I think it does. It's just having them guys, like I think they've won Dakar now for 16, 17 years. So they've got a lot of knowledge and background in this, and basically, Mark Comer, he actually just retired recently, and he's won Dakar now for 5 times. So he's been up there a lot, and having them guys in my corner now is definitely going to be a...
And how many factory riders would they carry into the Dakar?
So on the full factory team, there's 4.
Right.
So there's 2 from Spain, 1 from Dubai, and then myself. So I'm the very first Australian to sign with the factory
incredible.
rally
That's
team
good stuff.
full time. So it's
Being around the best in the world always makes you lift the game. Who is in your kind of sights? Who is the guy that you think you can be around that will make you a better?
Yeah, just the whole team that I'm with now, the Red Bull KTM Rally team. So Mark Comer, like I say, he's won 5 Dakar titles, and if we can get on board with him a little bit more and just learn the tricks of the trade from him a bit, then also my teammates Geordie Villadomes and Sam Sunderland, they're going to be guys that are going to be near the front this year as well. And look, we just got to bank off each other back and forth and just learn as much as we can. But we're excited for it. The future's looking pretty bright, and we're just got to make sure we stay on 2 wheels and stay fit and healthy and charge along from there.
I can thank my Newcastle Herald colleagues, Craig Carey and Darren Pateman, for this information for this question. But they tell me that Mark Coma, as you say, is about to retire, and they're grooming you, the KTM Red Bull team are grooming you as the number one rider. That must be not just the first Australian to do it, but in that team, but to have their trust and their faith in your ability, that they are giving you all this support. That must make you feel really good.
Yeah, that's when you say it like that, there's definitely
no pressure.
No pressure at all. Just remember the All Sports show when you're up on that podium.
There's like you say, it's a little bit of pressure now. But look, yeah, it's to have Mark Coma, like I say, he just retired, and I've pretty much got his seat on the team. Yep. KTM's got a lot of faith in me at the moment to try and groom me up to make sure we can be near the front of Dakar Rally again. And like I say, no one from Australia has won the Dakar Rally in the bike division, and I'd definitely like to be the first guy to do it. So.
And that's January, isn't it? You're tracking towards that. You're preparing for.
Yep. So I jet over just before New Year's Eve, and we spend a few days there just getting the gist of things, making sure the bike's ready.
Would KTM support you in the Fink?
So that's a goal at the moment where it's all now up to the rally side of things. My main goals, I want to come back and do the Fink Desert Race and the Hattah Desert Race.
Are KTM aware of that? That's one thing you'd like to do?
Yep, yeah, definitely. They've agreed to it. They said as long as it doesn't clash or interfere or anything with the rally, we're able to come back and do that. So we've won Fink 4 times and won the Hattah Desert Race 5 times. So yeah, I'd like to come back and try and keep a hold of them number 1 plates and see how we go.
Yeah, we love a prop. We love a prop on the All Sports show.
You're going to bring it up, Coops?
We love a prop on the All Sports show, and this is the best prop that's been on this desk ever, and I can't see anything ever beating it. Toby,
in training the other day, I got some dust in my eyes. I must have cried for an hour.
Can you introduce this?
I had some light aura around my eyes at the computer terminal yesterday, and I got a paper cut. But I had to get a new block of paper for the photocopier, and I got a paper cut. But this bloke can top it. Toby, take us back to the
Put on the
Fink
table,
Classic.
mate. Whack up on the table.
How the hell has
That's
this
unbelievable.
happened? And you're at the Fink Classic. What's happened? How did this happen?
Let's show it like this. I'm not a big knowledgeable person about walking. This doesn't look natural. There's something in there you need, and it's not a bloody stick.
When he told us the stick went through his shoe, we're like, I've worn thongs down the park at a picnic.
I've had bindies, I've had bindies.
When the bindi breaks off in your foot and the head.
Yeah, that hurts.
Talk us through this, Toby. What happened?
So this year for the Fink Desert Race, we're leading up to try and win 4. We are about a week out from the race, and we're out on the track testing and training, and I just drifted a little bit wide. I didn't actually go off track or anything, but I caught something with my boot. It pretty much only ripped me off the bike, and it stretched me out, laid me out on the bike, but I didn't come off or crash. It's definitely close. My foot just instantly went numb, and it felt like my foot had done a 360 on me, and I looked down, and to my surprise, I had that stick pretty much poking out of it. So. So I actually cracked the bone outside of my foot, and I got very lucky. I don't know how it actually only just split the skin a little bit. So I
Okay, so it's not like I was expecting to pull this out and it be covered in blood
and skin.
Smell a little meat on the end of it.
Sick man, Fernley.
Mate, that is incredible. That is incredible. And after that,
So how do you ride? Like, how do you finish that?
It was a mission. Trust me. I
lie down for an hour.
Yeah, I pretty much had the week off the bike. It definitely wasn't the best preparation going into Fink this year. It had cracked the bone of my foot, and my foot was swollen. I barely could get my foot back into that boot. So it was.
Jeez, I'm glad you took your time to get back. You're weak. You're weak off the bike.
Them boots are heavy. So like you're wearing all that gear. It must be a big day, and like in Dakar where it's really hot, wearing big gear like that.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? I mean, obviously it's all about hydration and stuff, but is there a fair bit of weight loss in that event?
Yeah, definitely.
What is the temperature as well?
So with Dakar, we range from anywhere. One day it was 48 degrees. And then once you got all that riding gear on, it feels like you're cooking from the inside out.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
then I think it was 3 days later, we were at 14,000 feet and minus 13 degrees, and we were freezing. So it was Dakar is just high altitude, sea level, anything racing. It's hot. cold.
So how do you stay hydrated through the race? So, like, do you have rest stops or the support crew?
Yeah, you got support crew that that follow you along for the whole race. But when we leave in the morning, we don't come in contact with the crew until that afternoon. So it's a pretty much a big day on your own. You might come across a couple other competitors that you may have caught up to, or they've caught you. You want to hope they don't catch you. You're always trying to catch people in front. But
if someone's over in a pile, do you stop? Or do you keep going?
No, you definitely stop. If they give you the thumbs up and they're all good, you keep going. But yeah,
You're right, mate. Yeah, I'm on.
yeah, that's it. You use them for speed bumps. But if they're down and hurt, like I'd want to hope someone would stop for me, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, and it's if something does go drastically wrong, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So
if they got a flat tyre, though, it's maybe
flat tyre.
No,
it's like
speak of the Spanish.
it's pretty much just wave and keep going.
So on that point, if you've got no contact, if you do get a flat tyre, is there a support crew that can come down the track, or?
Yeah, there's we can get like some stuff like brought down to the track if we really need to. But most of the time it's pretty much on our own. So it's whatever we can carry on us on the bike, on ourselves, we'll keep the bike going.
You got tunes in the ears, that, like.
Yeah, it's you got tubes around your neck, like a big necklace and things like that. But it's good. We just got to work on the map system a bit more, and then we'll be good to go.
So, Toby, if you're a Knights player or a Jets player and you're from up the valley, you said you're from Aberglasslyn, is that?
Yes, yeah, Aberglasslyn.
Your family can come down every second week and watch you play a home game. How does your family and how do your fans sort of keep track of you and your career?
Pretty much, yeah. For me, for the family, it's pretty tough. Like when I'm overseas on the other side of the world, all they can really do is sit there and watch live streaming and TV screens, and that's about it. So that's the worst bit. It's you can't really get the family there too much, and whenever I race here in Australia, my family get to as many races as possible. But when it's overseas stuff, it's hard. But it like I say, Dakar gets televised worldwide, and we get a lot of mainstream media with the TV shows and things like that. So it's easy to kind of track and follow on live web.
And you've got a massive following with your website and your Instagram and your different social media. So you can make a post each afternoon or each night when you're finished and let people know how you're going.
Yeah, that's it. We try to. For this year for Dakar, we try to let everyone know what was going on each day as much as possible. So we had. Actually, I had a satellite network out there, and basically could just squeeze a 30-second block into the satellite the stuff out there, and get a post out and just let everybody know I was safe. And we'd made another day of the Dakar and our position for the day, and kind of what was ahead for the next. And it was good. Everyone really enjoyed how much information we got out to them that year, and my social media just grew massively just from that one race at Dakar.
Mate, what are your hopes and what's the time frame?
Look, as a sports person, you always hope to be at the top and winning races. So it's look, I don't know if that'll come within the next year or two. With Dakar, it's a big event. It's hard to try and tame that one. But we've got 2 years at the moment that we can try and prove ourselves. And with rally racing, we've probably still got about another 10, maybe 12 years up my sleeve. So I definitely know my speed's there. I know I'm fast enough to be able to run near the front. It's just as long as we don't make mistakes and we follow that navigation right, we should hopefully be able to see ourselves up on top step of a Dakar definitely within the next 12 years for sure.
Right. I'm thinking it's often said of the swimmers who get up at 3 a.m. and they just see that black line at the bottom of the pool, or interstate truck drivers just see the white lines in the middle of the highway trucking back and forth. When you're out in the desert, apart from eating and breathing in a lot of dirt and grit and dust and stuff, are you taking in what's around you, or are you just totally focused on the track or the road ahead, the terrain ahead?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything. So for our transport sections, we do get to have a bit of a look around, and we can stop off at a service station and grab a little coffee and a bit of a quick hit and espresso and get the charge back on and keep going, because it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Watch the bugs out of your teeth.
That's it, exactly.
Protein.
Yeah, that's it. And just keep us awake, keep us going. But once the actual special stage starts and you take off and you're under the clock, it's pretty much just eyes on the road and eyes on the track, and full gas and going as fast as we can.
So where to now? You're at home for how much longer before you head off and get ready for this?
Not home too long. Actually, I go to Sydney on the weekend just to do some more promotion stuff. Actually going to be on RPM show on Channel 10, and also go to the V8 Supercars and just do some stuff there with some V8 guys, and also Monday, Tuesday, and then we jet out on Thursday for a rally in Chile. So it's all the rally stuff's about to kick off for us. That'll be my first outing on the new RedBull KTM rally bike, and we've got 3 rallies at the end of this year to do, and also Australian 4-day Enduro Championship. And then November we'll be in probably Dubai training in sand dunes, and then getting ready for Dakar again in January.
Toby,
amazing.
Your story is an amazing story, mate, and we appreciate you coming on. And mate, I still can't believe that. We wish you all the best, and of course with the KTM Red Bull team, it's a massive achievement for the first Australian. And mate, going to the future, all the best for your sports show, and thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah, mate, back
thanks,
yourself.
Toby.
We're right there with you.
Appreciate it.
And
Thank
we'll
you
be
very much for
claiming
having
you
us
too.
on.
The All Sports Show's very own Toby Price.
We're going to take a quick
Unreal,
break and
perfect.
we're going to come back, go for a quick break and come back and try and talk this show up a bit.
See you after the break.
Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to the All Sports Show. Well,
How good were those
in
guests?
my opinion, we've had the 2 best guests all year.
We've
back
had
to
some
back.
big. We've had some
Back to back.
great
They're the
guests.
most interesting by a long way.
And achievers at all levels, like the multi-sport achievement of Tanisha Stanton and Toby Price.
Are we ever going to get another guest when the following week we give the other one the arse?
Mate,
That's by far
And
the
this is
bloody
by far the
guest
best audience. This is by far the best audience we've had.
Oh, they're into it. It's the magic of television. No,
Before we go downhill and go to Four Days Favourites, we might go to Kirsch for another sports update. That'll be
It's
interesting.
an update of sorts, mate. It's a real NRL update, and there's no games this
Nothing
weekend.
to update.
Nothing to update. Well, we'll go through last week's results. Lakes 12 beat Cessnock 10 at Carl Oval. Central 20. Knocking Curry off at Curry. So Central are sneaking into the 5.
Yes.
Macquarie 14 beat South 10 at Peacock. And West 32 beat Maitland 14 at Harker. And the ladder is West 20, Lakes 18, Cessnock 15, Macquarie 14. Central and South are both on 12. So, yeah, next weekend's game's going to...
Yes, yeah.
I think the semis are getting closer. It feels like they are, but they're just these... It's not...
There's
We're having a crack.
one more game of the semis, that's it. Yeah, one more game of the
it's
semis,
this
so
stop-start, don't you?
it'd be good to see.
Thrust on
Good
them.
to see come around now.
4 days, your favourites.
4 Days Favourites. I'll just got a bit of self-promotion firstly.
Please do.
Next Friday at South Sluice Club, I'm emceeing a show. We've got Paul Kent, Ben Eichen on. Be a big day. There's still some tickets left. It's filling up quickly, so if you'd like to come along, I'll be emceeing, so it'll be the worst part of the day. But Ben Eichen and Paul Kent will be...
Don't see yourself short, mate, because plenty of others do.
Yeah, I know. But
right,
I
mate,
don't listen to knockers, mate, you know.
No, that should be a good show. And
Do you two want to get a room?
no, but before... maybe,
Something.
where have you been, 4 day? You had last week off. Please tell us where and why.
I went to Chicago to see a horse race, and the horse won 4th. It was a good run. It was a good day, a good weekend.
Wait, you took the horse...
It was an Australian.
Was it Rustic Melody?
I was a.
It wasn't Melody, did it?
Was it Rustic?
Was it? The Melody's having a little rest. I was invited to go along with a friend of mine and to watch this horse, and Chris Lewis will get the horse when it comes to Australia to train. Long story, but Chicago's a town. Kurt, you told me off the camera, it's a great town, and I went to the Crosstown Classic, the White Sox versus the Cubs, and the day at the baseball was something else. It was something else.
Was that at Wrigley Field?
Were you at Cubs Home Stadium?
No, it was at White Sox Cellular Field.
Oh, geez, that can be a
It's down,
dodgy little
it's down
bloody...
south of Chicago. And
Hanging with the tough kids
you know what?
South Central.
You know what? And this will sound wrong, but it's very right. You realise when you go to American sport how big bogans Australians are.
Yeah.
They go
Please
and enjoy their
explain.
sport, and both teams enjoy the game together. That wouldn't have happened if it was South City versus the Roosters. It would have been Blues everywhere, or the Bulldogs. It's just the way they appreciate their sport and applaud everything was a sight to behold, and I really enjoyed it.
Mate, I love American sports. So since I was 13, I've been spending, 6 months abroad every year. I always I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm a Giants fan. I've caught a Bears game, Giants v Bears at Soldier Field. They do have, it's a different level of entertainment what they provide. And their fans will turn up. And I wore my Giants hat, Giants shirt in the middle of Soldier Field in Chicago, and everyone just had a laugh, and it was all. There was no. There's never a lot of malice, and there's not a lot of cussing, and it's all just. It's all just there as entertainment.
And when they win a championship, they set fire to the town. go
Apart from that-
looting, a bit
apart
of
from that-
riding.
apart from that.
That's only once a year, the championship winning team.
But we went back to a sports bar afterwards, and all the fans, both sets of fans were there. No trouble. It's just fantastic. And
What did you eat? Some deep dish pizza?
I had a deep dish pizza, Chicago pizza, which is tradition, and must say you couldn't eat that every day.
Oh, no, bloody hell.
You eat it every day over there?
Mate, buffalo wings is a big dish. You eat them everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
But you go to the bar, I'll have a
living.
beer and buffalo wings. It's outstanding. And great city.
Billy Goat Tavern.
Billy Goat Tavern, mate. That's something out of the, what would you say, 50s? Would you say?
Yeah.
It's underground and like under the subway and But one of the highlights for me was we were going on our way to the Crosstown Classic, the baseball game, and there was a black fella getting on the train with "woo woo" written across his back. He was about a 75, 80-year-old guy. And anyway, all the White Sox fans, the Cubs fans are going, "Woo woo's right in the sub, woo woo's right in the sub." I'm going, this guy might be a little bit famous. So I got myself a photo with him. And then the next day, Googled him, and he's a massively famous Cubs fan from the moment he was 5 years old till now he's 80. And it was a kid that was abused by his mother and was raised by Cubs people. So he's always been a Cubs fan. It was an amazing story, and looking back, it was a highlight for me to meet that guy. You know,
we gave Fordo one assignment to see if he could track him down. And remember a few years ago, that kid that leaned over the wall and tried to catch the ball, and he ruined the outfielder for the Cubs dropped the ball because this kid lost it.
No, that's a Red Sox game.
I think it was a Cubs game, wasn't it?
No, it's a Red Sox game. It's the curse. The curse of the.
They're tuning up. They're tuning up by the hundreds.
The
dozens. Back to Fordo's
by the
favourites.
ones.
I wanted you to interview that kid because he's still under police protection.
I think we're getting you a Knights jersey with woo woo on the back. Mate.
You are woo. You're our woo woo.
We need to move on, and I need a sports tip from you guys to.
You lead the way in, mate. What about a racing and a sports tip from you, and then I'll have a quick think about what I'm going to pick.
Okay, for me,
I'm on fire.
in the first race in Sydney tomorrow, a horse by the name of Sebring Sun. It's beating everything in its wake at the moment. It's $2.40 fixed so far on the tab. Hugh Bowman to ride. Sebring Sun the first tomorrow. Think it will be winning. For me, I think the Rabbits might be too good tonight. Is that tonight's game?
It is tonight's game.
I think the Rabbits might be too good for the Dogs. They're too inconsistent. And I think the Knights will need all of their 20.5 start on Monday night to be in the market with the Storm.
See, I'm there. I think that 20.5 is enough. And it's on the line, $1.95.
So you're picking the Knights
with start.
with the start. Okay. Well, in your absence, Fordo, I stretched my winning streak to 2 in a row last week. All over the Broncos beat the Dragons. Our guest host Joel Griffiths was on the Dragons, so he dipped out. I had a win. The other bloke on the show, I can't remember his name. I think he tipped the Swans beat the Pies, and he had a win as well.
Spritz.
So, yeah, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. But Ivan, there you go. We just acknowledge your presence. You had a win last week at the Swans. So 2 in a row. I'm going for my hat trick, my first winning hat trick of the year, and I'm torn a little bit here, so I'm going to go both. I'm going to go the Roosters against the Broncos.
Is this an all up? Is this an all up? Or two bets?
No, one into the other. What do you call that?
An all up? A multi?
A multi. A multi, Roosters at home to the Broncos. Now, that doesn't sound real brave, but
head-to-head?
The Broncos, yeah, just straight up.
That's a good bet.
The Broncos have won 14 of the last 21 times they've played at the football stadium. They sometimes have a bogey ground.
I think it's a brave bet.
So I'm going the Roosters to beat the Broncos into Manly at Brookvale at home. They love it. Sunday afternoon against Parramatta, their old arch rivals. And I'll go Manly 13 plus there. So Roosters over the Broncos, straight up into Manly 13 plus to give it to Parramatta and stay on track for the semi-finals.
So we're not going to mention our former boss's name because he reckons every time we mention his name, he has a skull. So we're going to go a short break.
I think he's driving too.
So we're going to go a short break.
I don't want him to have a skull while he's driving.
We're going to go a short break, and we're going to go Ivan Spurs, Ivan Spurs, Ivan Spurs. That's 3
there
drinks.
You go. There's a schooner.
3 drinks. And we're back. I think we're back. We are.
Live.
Look at the table. We are full. We are full. And early in the year, we had a couple of our local legends on from the Newcastle North Stars, a hockey team, and we're glad to be joined by a couple tonight, Peter and Geordie. Welcome, boys.
Welcome to the
Geez, when we spoke to the boys earlier in the year, you were looking forward to a big season, but do you expect to be running first with one game to play?
I kind of did. I don't know about Geordie. He hadn't seen what the playing field was like, but when I saw the level of players that Gary, our GM, had put together this year, I thought we were in a good run this year, and we've exceeded that. We've finished first in the season and first seed for the finals coming up weekend following.
So they play the Ice Dogs this weekend, who I think they haven't won a game all season. Is that
they did win one in overtime, and then they were penalised for not showing with enough players.
That was the one, yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a very tough year for them. They've been one of our greatest competitors.
Yeah.
It's like that really strong rivalry between teams like Canterbury and Parramatta and NRL. That's been our rivalry with the Western Sydney Ice Dogs. So it's pretty sad to not see them. We love their games. And
Don't be sad.
No, I'm not sad at all. Every time I say anything about the North Stars, dirty bloody Ice Dogs on social media,
They
get
tweet
straight
right back
into
at
me.
you.
So up the old North Stars.
Would I be right in saying you guys played a couple of grand finals some years back? You and the Ice Dogs, is that right?
Yeah, there's been 3 finals between the North Stars and the Ice Dogs, or 4. 4, yeah. We've won 3 out of 4.
Geordie,
So-
leading goal scorer, is that something that you thought would, obviously a goal at the start of the year, but is it something you thought would come to fruition?
I think that's kind of something you hope for a little bit. I didn't really know a whole lot coming in and what to expect from that, but kind of about 10 games in, you can kind of notice that you're starting to get a lot. And actually, my line mate there at the start of the season, Luke Moffat, he was getting a lot of goals. So I think if he would have been able to stay the whole season, he would have broke the record here for goals. So I've been able to pick up a little bit of slack since he's been gone.
Yeah, well, Luke's he's third in the goal scoring, I think.
Still.
So it's pretty good to, like, look at any other sport, usually you have one guy that gets the tries or the goals or whatever, but to have 2 of the top 3, it's been a good season. And of course, we watch games on live stream and we follow you on Twitter, and it's always like, and again, here we go again. So it's good stuff.
Yeah. So far, it's been awesome, and it's too bad that Luke wasn't able to finish off the season here, but we have a great team going forward here in the last week, and the grand finals are next weekend too.
So Peter, of course, is the communications manager for the North Stars and their game day commentator, and Geordie Woodrick is their star import this season. Geordie, can you give us some of your background? You're one of the I guess the highest profile and greatest achievers as far as imports in the Australian Ice Hockey League.
Yeah, for me, I grew up playing ice hockey back in Canada, where I grew up all around Vancouver. I started skating in a small little town called Squamish, just outside the ski and snowboard resort Whistler there. So I've been skating for about just over 23 years, and I played junior hockey in BC as well for the Kelowna Rockets, and I played a few years in Saskatchewan for the Swift Current Broncos. I was playing in the ECHL this year for the Missouri Mavericks, and came over to Australia for 4 months ago, and just been loving my time here with the North Stars and in Australia in general.
So you were drafted you were drafted by National Hockey League Club?
Yeah, so quite a few years ago, I was drafted by the Los Angeles Kings there in 2008. I never got a contract with them, but it was pretty cool to be able to go to quite a few camps there and learn from their staff, and especially their high-profile players there.
So coming from Canada, where it's national sport and kids just grow up, it's part of their DNA, to Australia, where it's still, I guess, considered a peripheral sport in terms of mainstream coverage and mainstream knowledge. How do you rate the standard of the league of what you've seen this year compared to what you used to? And
I think kind of my roommates and all the other imports, we talk a lot just about how surprising the level of play is. It's really good. And I think kind of every year you can see, I've been following the league for about 3 years since I've kind of wanted to come over. And you can see that not only the imports that they bring over every year are getting better, but the local players are getting quite a bit better, and they're really starting to catch up. And I think, in 5, 10, 15 years, the league's going to be a really good league.
And Peter, you've obviously been around the club for a long time. It's a club with a history of success, and I guess fallen short a couple of times, but this year there must be a real strong feeling of confidence around the club that the North Stars can go all the way. Yeah,
we tend to do better on our years that we come from behind, so it's a bit scary being in front. But yeah, I said to Gary, he asked me after, Gary's our general manager, he asked me after the first weekend, he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "This is the best team we've ever had." Because we don't just have the level of players like Geordie, and we've had Luke, and we've brought in Scott, also another Canadian, and Jan. But we've also added more local guys as well. We've got a couple of expats who are excellent, and our young guys have really picked up as well. So we've got guys from Valentine and Blackwells Park and places like that are now playing at a great level in this Australian Ice Hockey League.
And how do you identify them kids? You go out there on Friday night, they're skating around with their girlfriends, go, "Man, that guy can skate." Or how does that work? Is there a junior league? I know kids do camps and that, but is there a junior league?
Yeah, well, Geordie's been involved in camps, but we definitely have junior leagues, and we have representative teams. So the North Stars, there's really two organisations. There's our team, which is the National League team. It's actually owned by the rink, but the club runs the rest of the teams. So they start from ages 4, 5, 6. They start in the Mites program, which is really in under 9s.
Yep.
And then they move on to the levels after that. You've got your Pee-wees and Bantams and Midgets, different age groups, all the way up to the Women's Comp and the East Coast Super League, which is a feeder team for our national AIHL team.
Yeah, it's great. And how have you found the level, Geordie? Is it something you expected? Like like as Coop said, it's like a boutique sport in Australia, but it's well supported in Newcastle. How have you found the level of competition?
So far, it's been really good, and I think it's only going to get quite a bit better here in the grand final weekend. That's such an intense playoff weekend there, just 2 games, and that's going to be exciting for us to play, and I think going to be pretty exciting for the fans to be able to watch down in Melbourne.
How many players do you think we'll have in the All-Stars weekend, Pete?
The teams have been named. I think we have about 5 or 6. It helps being it's held in Newcastle, so it's happening 2 weeks after the finals. It's right here at Warners Bay. And yeah, we've got a good selection. Some of them are in the other team, so they get to play against each other, which we're actually looking forward to.
How does that work?
Talking it up.
How does that work?
Well, it's like the boss didn't really want me to talk about it being like the NHL one, but it is like the NHL one. So the NHL All-Star Weekend, they do a similar thing. They have a skills competition, they have a shooting competition, accuracy, power. Like they get the radar gun on it, all that sort of stuff. And then on the Sunday, they have an All-Star game where they mix up the teams and they get into it and they have a good time. It's a lot of fun.
I've been out to the Warners Bay. I've caught a couple of games, and it is just a sellout every single time. It is
And we're sold out
It is
again.
packed. How have you got that level of community sport, that grassroots sport?
Yeah. Well, one is persistence. It's been a matter of 15 years of continuing to work on it. And the other thing is we're blessed to be in Newcastle, honestly. I talked to the guys from the other teams, and they are a bit jealous of the amount of support we get from the community, from the media, from you guys, that sort of stuff. Newcastle has that community feel, and it's also because we've been a family-focused sport, and you're so close. Like you can go to the ice hockey and you can sit a metre or so from the glass. You can reach out and you can touch the glass. You can feel when Geordie creams some guy from the Ice Dogs up against the grass, right there, right in front of you. So
you really
different
can.
experience.
When you're watching out at Warners Bay, you're seeing a face smash against that person.
You love that stuff, Kurt.
Mate, that's what I live for.
You go out there and do training just for that, so you can smash yourself into the glass.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit more fragile than these fellas. But
Well, they've got sledge hockey and it's tough too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, a lot of friends play sledge hockey, so I've spent a lot of time in North America, and I was amazed about just how it is. It's a religion in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Ice hockey is like something we don't have the equivalent. We don't have the equivalent here. They live it, breathe it,
Maybe
eat
rugby in New Zealand, Kurt.
Yeah, rugby in New Zealand. It's just, for me, it's the only to only say that maybe also soccer in like the
Brazil.
middle band of England, or Brazil, right? It's some incredible stuff, but I have no idea where I was going with that.
It doesn't matter. We've derailed many
Story.
trains of thought on this program, Kurt, and that's about the 50th. 51st
Tommy
year.
tripped up tonight. He's been going good tonight. About time he tripped up.
Geordie, tell us, living in Newcastle, mate, how have you found that? And
That's where I was going.
Oh, there you go.
That's where I was going.
We're back on track.
How have you found not the sport, but the changing culture? Massive. Thanks, Keeps.
That's all right.
why you're
We're here to help.
He's here to help.
No, absolutely. Newcastle's been incredible. My roommates and I, we've just had such a good time here, and not only Newcastle, but I've been able to travel all around Australia, not only with our games, but kind of in the time that I've had off, I've been all over the East Coast, and I got to go on a few little trips. But
Not those ice dogs, though, right?
Yeah.
No good idea.
no, not those guys.
Thumbs down.
So, no, it's been great though. Newcastle's unreal. There's some amazing beaches too, and I've been learning how to surf a little bit. So it's a bit of a challenge for me, but hopefully I can keep learning some things like that.
Have you found the surf? Have you had a swim in the beach yet, or?
Oh yeah, I'm in the water all the time. People think we're crazy, but this water temperature is nice for me. It's
Mate,
Remember those big grey things with the
know
pointy?
that everything in Australia can kill you.
It can. Seriously.
Mate, I had to laugh. Everyone's walking around in Ugg boots. You're kicking in pluggers.
Yeah.
You're in thongs. You walked in thonged up.
Laughed at our winter. We froze. He laughed.
You laugh
Geordie,
at
you
our
laughed at our
20-degree winter.
Pete, obviously a great season regardless. Let's hope we win it. But will this team stay together next year? Is that the goal to try and keep the team together, or is these guys come in for a year and they're gone? Or
Because of visa laws, often they're here for 1 year and that's it.
Yeah.
Because often these guys are here on visitor visas and it's hard to come back a second year. But look, we've got more expats in our team than just about any other team. And these guys that came to Australia, like Jordan said, this is too good, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to stay. So JFK, our John Kennedy Jr., one of our players, he's one of those guys. He's come out to play. He played in Canberra, he played Newcastle, met a girl, got married, loves it here, settled in. His family's moved here. Yeah, that's not unusual.
John F. Kennedy Jr.
His name is John F. Kennedy Jr.
Jordan,
Yeah.
Hey, it's a big family.
On that point, have you got options to go back to?
So for me, my other season will start kind of in October, and I don't have a contract yet, but that'll hopefully be in North America. They're probably in the States somewhere. But that season can end anywhere from April to June next year. So if it all works out, I would love to be able to come back and play here and hopefully be able to play for the whole season like I was able to this year.
We'd love that too.
We mentioned the All-Star weekend, of course. That's September 12 and 13. Your last regular season game is this Sunday at Warners Bay at 5 o'clock against the Ice Dogs. In between that, though, is the rather important finals weekend in Melbourne. So that's obviously the goal, to go down there and win a championship. That's the 29th and 30th of August.
Yeah, we're playing for the Goodall Cup, which is over 100 years old. It was first played for by New South Wales and Victoria in 1909. So it's only, as far as national cups go, it's only behind the Allen Cup and the Stanley Cup in age. So it's very special. And it means a lot to these guys, especially the Aussies who've known about it for many years, since our little mites learning how to skate. It's a two-day event. On the Saturday, 1 versus 4, we play the Canberra Brave, and on the 2 versus 3 game, that's the Melbourne Ice and the Perth Thunder. It's really nice to have 4 teams from 4 different states, territories this year. And then on Sunday, the 2 winners play for the Goodall Cup and to be national champions.
So, presuming you get through Canberra, who do you think you'll be playing in the final?
Well, it's a hard call. Early in the season, Perth were really the team to beat.
You give him a bit of a touch-up last week. Was it last week or the week before?
The guys went to Perth and won one, lost one.
9-5.
Yeah, won one, lost one over there, but that's in Perth. It'll be a bit different. Because they're the home team, I think Melbourne Ice will be tough to beat in the home rink down in Melbourne.
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think probably the Ice, but I got a couple buddies there in Perth that I think will have something to say about that as well.
Yeah, they're good players.
Let's hope the All-Star weekend's a celebration of all things good Newcastle ice hockey.
Yeah, if people haven't seen it before, it's a great way to get into the sport too. It's a bit more of a social event than usual ones.
Would it be an all-day event, like out there, rather than just one game and go, like the All-Star Day? Would it be like?
The skills day will be longer. Yeah. The game will just be a game and a bit of entertainment, yes.
Yeah, but it'll be all the other stuff around it with the shooting and the strength and the speed and all that kind of stuff.
It's going to take a few hours to get through, so it'll be lots of entertainment.
Well, boys, we are ecstatic that you come on the show again, and we are dead set. We've got to bring this damn cup home, the Goodall Cup.
Yeah, we'd love to bring a cup back to Newcastle for us.
And when you bring it back, we're going to sit right at this table and drink out of the damn thing.
Have you seen how big it is?
Water out of it.
It's about this tall.
First thing, well, it's as big as the Stanley Cup, is it?
We love a big prop on
as big as the Stanley Cup.
Right.
Yeah.
We love a big prop on the All Sports Show.
Let's flog the Ice Dogs this weekend. Let's go win the grand final. Have a real celebratory All-Star weekend. Everyone, please thank Peter and Geordie for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks,
guys.
And we're going to go to probably another long break and then come back and just talk some general sports.
Wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So after the break.
And we're back. Look at that. Right on camera, Fordo. And, it's been the best show ever, surely. If it's not, you're kidding yourself. But I'd like to throw to me offside and now with a bit of sports jibber, the Mayor of Auburn, Brett Keeble.
Oh, can we get on here? We can't let him go, all right?
Mate, your text message last night about the Mayor of Auburn was the best ever.
Before I do a sports update, I just wanted to say, boys, now, I don't know if you guys have been here long enough this week to hear about this, the Deputy Mayor of Auburn. His name's Salim Mahaja. He's caused chaos. He closed his street down to have his wedding. He's rocked up with like 100 flash cars and no expense spared. didn't get approval, and his own council fined him $220. But there's the media, God bless us, are starting to sniff around. There's a few issues, but I reckon he's a dead ringer for Ben Barber.
I reckon, mate.
Now I don't know if we've got some photos of him, but otherwise, Google Salim Mahaja and Benny Barber, very similar.
Never been seen in the same room together.
Never been seen. Anyway, we've got a big weekend. Before we get into too much else, big weekend in soccer. Yeah, soccer this weekend, local soccer. It's semi-final day in the NPL. Saturday, tomorrow, Broadmeadow Magic are playing Edgeworth at Magic Park. That's 1 versus 4. And Hamilton Olympic versus Lambton Jaffers at Darling Street Oval, 2 versus 3. Edgeworth 1. It's a 2-leg finals. Yep. And so that's the first leg of that. Edgeworth, of course, finishing as minor premiers on 40 points. Lambton was second on 37. Olympic were third on 36 points, and the Magic were fourth on 32. So, yeah, Magic get the first home game against Edgeworth. Hamilton Olympic home to the Jaffers, and they'll play
much the same in the soccer again, isn't it? A bit like the rugby.
But the big one this weekend in the women's soccer, the Herald Women's Premier League, the grand final on Sunday at 3 p.m. at Magic Park. Our very own Jane McDonald, who was on the show last week, she successfully predicted her own team winning, Merriweather United FC. They beat Football Mid-North Coast 3-0 last Sunday, and she also predicted their opponents, Valentine FC, who beat Adamstown 8-0. It's a record for a final, biggest finals win since the league was kicked off in 2009.
Couple sent off.
8-0 they won.
There's a ringer in there.
Merriweather versus Valentine, first versus third. Good luck to Jane and the Merriweather girls. Good luck to the Valentine girls as well. But that's a big weekend in local soccer. The men's semi-finals tomorrow. And Sunday is Hamilton Olympic versus Lambton at Darling Street, and the women's
Great
at
stuff,
Magic Park.
Great stuff, Coos. Well, mate, you obviously we're at the basketball Saturday night. Ben
Fantastic.
Simmons, we spoke.
Yeah,
we touched on it earlier.
I get into trouble for talking too much basketball. It was a great. It was one of the great nights at that Broadmeadow Basketball Stadium. The biggest crowd there in at least 25 years since the Falcons used to play there.
Yep.
And they were all there to watch one player, and he was great. Like he starred and dominated the game. Then afterwards, he's mobbed like a rock star. He's posing for selfies with all the kids, and
knowing quite well that the Newcastle people knowing quite well that this guy could be an NBA star.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he'll be in the top couple of players picked. And not just him, there are a couple of other players in that team. Antonio Blakeney, Brandon Sampson, we mentioned them last week. Keith Hornsby, Tom Corner. They're going to be a strong side in college basketball this season.
How did that happen? How did we get that game?
Well, I'd like to take some credit. No, actually. Well, his assistant coach on that team is his godfather, David Patrick, and he's obviously great mates with his dad. And just a promoter in Melbourne, Peter Fittis, who's had a long association with the National Basketball League as a sponsor and as a promoter and as a supporter. He just had some contact with the school, LSU, and they worked out, well, what a great idea to bring him down under. He's got a couple of hometowns here, obviously Newcastle and Melbourne. They played a game in Sydney last Sunday against the Kings. They played a Queensland All-Stars team midweek. They played Dandenong in Dandenong last night against Melbourne United, and they'll play them again on Saturday at the Hisense Arena.
For me,
it's a great warm-up for the team too to get the bonding.
It must be amazing school because for me, college football, LSU are they're in the top couple of American football teams. So to have a great basketball team, they must be a massive school over there.
Sport in college over there is just incredible.
Enormous, yeah.
Incredible.
Enormous,
I think that also that college system gives them a really great base as it allows their body to fill out. I wish we had a grade that was almost compulsory for a number of years before we got players going into our professional
sports. Well, they tried that with the NYC and it just probably hasn't worked like that, Kurt. Like they tried that, but it really hasn't probably taken off.
It needs to be associated with an education as well, I think, Fordo, because there's a lot of kids that go through like the lower grades of rugby league, but the focus needs to be on the person as well. And that's why every single NFL player does a year or so of college.
And as you say, something to fall back on if it all turns to rubbish.
Something. Or even that substance, that additional year or two of study can sometimes give them just a greater ability to problem solve. It gives them just a more
base.
More tools. More tools in the shed.
Quickly, I know we're running out of time, boys, but the last round of the Black Diamond AFL tomorrow, of course, we had Gary Birkinshaw on last week, the commissioner, the commish, we could like to call him. The big game will be, there's 3 games. Nelson Bay versus Killarney Vale at Dick Burwell. Warners Bay versus Cardiff Hawks at Fagan Oval. But the big one at number 1 sports ground, likely grand final preview, Newcastle City versus Terry Gulliboka, unbeaten Terry Gulliboka.
Unbeaten
So
Terry
it's
Gull,
you wonder if they're going to hold back a little bit because they'll be playing each other again in the
possibly
final.
show the other team nothing.
But leading into that, mate, the big news through the week was it was all about the AFL, and what a day they had earlier in the week. James Hird, your man at Essendon, or your club, Essendon, the golden-haired boy as a player and as a coach, he's parted ways, and on the same day they announced a $2.5 billion TV deal. Kurt, AFL's not our strength, it's not mine, it's not yours.
Mine.
Talk us through as an Essendon fan. Did James Hird have to leave the Bombers for them to get on with things post Asada?
100%. 100%. And I think that was known. That was known within the club for 2 years. It just wasn't known within James Hird.
Yeah, it's like the speech and the press conference he gave the other day should have happened a couple of years ago, shouldn't it?
Oh, 100%.
It's just,
and I don't know if they are. He says that it came to a question. He said to somebody within the club, "Are they going to give us a fair go with me at the helm?" That question should have been asked 3 years ago, and he would have got the same result.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just, unfortunately, look, I love James Hird as a player, incredible player. I don't think he did enough work. He didn't need an apprenticeship. He needed a 3 or 4 years underneath Kevin Sheedy But what happened there? What happened there? We still don't know. And he is the head coach.
Probably not.
And he is the head coach. He has a duty of care. He's just is so messy.
And whether he liked it or not, and obviously he didn't like it, he didn't because he just had to go, didn't he? He had to step aside and
Dragged on for a long time.
Look, and he has been a great club man up until these last couple of years.
Couple of things before we go, boys. Couple of quick thoughts. Firmly 15 launch is in the October 18th. The fourth ring, I think, Kurt.
I can't make it back. It's on the 18th of October.
The race, of course, named after you.
The race that stops a suburb. The race that stops a city.
Knight's first win for Bedsy. Good to see, and a good result.
Yeah, it was
good luck
a tough
on the
win.
weekend.
Yep.
Dan Kevill, 12-match suspension for eye gouging, dismissed.
Fordo, you're very close to that. You can't really. We've covered that.
I haven't been in close, but dismissed, and Pearl was heard during the week. And the big one for me, I was sitting in the Scout Sports Bar in Chicago. NFL precincts come on and watch Jared Hayne play NFL. Amazing. Mate, look, the highlights reel is impressive. A couple of mistakes. He got whacked a couple of times. Fair enough. Good first up effort. Thoughts, quick thoughts?
Mate, I'm a 49ers fan, I'm an NFL fan, and I'm a Jared Hayne fan. But I didn't give him a chance in hell of getting it this far because there's so much he's got to learn. The playbook, it's this thick, and having to learn what kids in the States are like we're talking with Geordie with the ice hockey. It's in their DNA. They're brought up on the sport. So he had to learn a whole new sport, really, the tactics and the strategies. Physically, had to redesign his body. He's still a long way to go. And I haven't helped him when he makes a mistake.
We're still running off natural ability. We're still not sure, but this is potentially the biggest story in Australian sport.
Okay, boys, we're running out of time. It's been a fantastic show. Kurt, good to see you back. Great job, mate. Keebs always. Solid as a rock.
Fordo. Thank you,
Solid as a
Kurt.
rock. For mine, 49ers can't make the playoffs. They'll struggle. Good luck to Jared Hayne. We've had a great show. Please, Ivan, come back next week.
Bail us out, Ivan. See you next week.